So we're going to start with the Chuck Scott College Photographer of the Year. It has to include at least one news picture, one picture story, and picture from at least 2 other categories, which again, they already do. Let me go ahead and pull that up here. And then with these, we don't have like black slides in between stories and singles because we don't mandate that people have to put their singles first and then stories. It's kind of whatever, however you want to edit it. So if there's something you haven't seen and you want to like take a deeper look at it, we can do that. There's like that is available because there might be some things in here that you haven't seen. Okay. We'll look at everything first, big for all 6, and then we'll do a round of voting. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So here's our first. Here's our first portfolio. Okay. Portfolio number 2. Okay. Portfolio number 3. Portfolio 4. Okay. Portfolio 5. And oh man, a little thing keeps popping down. Portfolio 6. That's the last one. All right. So what I'll do while we do this first round of voting, can you see the entire contact sheet, by the way, when I go through that like that? You can see all the thumbnails.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. What I'll do is I'll just kind of, while we vote, we'll just kind of scroll through so you can see what's what. And we'll do one to keep it in for now, and we'll kind of see where we are at that point. How's that sound?
Good.
Okay. All right, so we'll start with this one.
In.
In.
Okay. In.
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 I think I'm out on this one.
Out.
You're out too, Tim? Is that what you said? Yep. Out.
Out.
Yeah, out.
Okay. Out.
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 Oh, you're muted, Tim. Out. There we go. Okay. Sorry. I can read your lips. Out.
Out.
I coughed. Sorry. Did you guys? I heard one out.
Yeah, I'm out as well.
And you're, Tim, you are out. Okay. All right. Out. Okay. So that gets us down to 2. Does that look right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Cool. So I guess at this point, this is where we kind of talk about the strengths, the weaknesses, what stands out, what you think might kind of elevate one above the next. I can read any captions again. We can look at everything big again, longer if you want to do that. It's kind of whatever you want to do from here.
But it looks like for both of these, we've got a couple, well, I think we have like 2 picture stories each
Mm-hmm.
that we've seen already. And then a couple of singles that we've also already seen. I think I like this one.
The stories, I'm kind of leaning toward this one too. The stories, you can just tell the photographer really spent time with these people, and there's emotion in a good amount of them.
Mhm.
The first one has some really strong single images.
But the some that are not are really not doing the portfolio justice, I think.
Definitely. Mhm.
So not to interrupt the conversation, but like this is part of the learning experience here. Like, what are some of the things for you, Kathy, that you just were kind of referring to in this portfolio?
I think the couple of like the alligator picture, which is a really like striking like moment, but the real moment is the guy throwing the food into the alligators. Like there's this anticipatory thing that we as photographers need to satisfy to a certain extent. We've got the right angle, we've got all these crazy, I don't know if they're crocodiles or alligators, I don't know the difference, but what it maybe says an alligator farm, you want to elicit that emotion, and you want him throwing those rats or whatever he's tying up there into that. So it's like there's some missed opportunities here that, and you can go back to the whole
Contact sheet.
Yeah, thank you. I think that this photographer recognizes moments, and so that to me almost feels like there was a disconnect there. The same with the manatee. I think that's a manatee. I mean, I'm trying to get my sea life straight here. Like I'm just looking for a moment. And so I think maybe this photographer very much is a project photographer, a story photographer. And that's where they've put their energies. But I do think that to the category, to the description, showing your versatility is really key. And it needs to hold up from story through your singles for it to kind of be at that next level. And we did pick apart the new Marshfield story, I think, back when it was in contention before, just against maybe some missed opportunities or maybe some poor editing choices that could help elevate this. I mean, I think that's really hard for a young photographer to kind of disassociate themselves with their pictures. And really, you might love a picture, or you might love a mood or an angle, but if it's not serving the story, you have to kind of like, kill your babies, right? And get rid of the image to a certain extent. That's just some initial thoughts to that. And I think the grandparent story is very nice, but I think there's probably an image or two that doesn't need to be in there.
Yeah.
And actually, to your point, because I think in the other portfolio, there's the Marshall Islands story, and I think there are a couple more pictures from that in this than what we saw in the initial entry, in the initial story entry. And in a way, I kind of wish I'd seen those other couple beforehand, because they are, I think there's one, I think it's number 6. That one's really nice. Or not 6, number 13 rather. I do like, I like that light. I like the way they kind of work the frame a little bit. I wouldn't have minded seeing that one in the portfolio submission, or in the story submission rather. But I think because it's almost like there are a couple fewer from like stories that end up going towards singles, and I think like those handful of singles work well enough to me that I think it puts this portfolio a little bit over. But at the same time, like I think for 2 and for 5, like those are kind of missed moments, or something, like a moment that if you move around a little bit, or if you're a little bit more patient, then you're there. So you might have like the scene, but you might have missed the moment, but you try to get like the moment immediately after to kind of make up for it. But like you kind of know, like in your soul of like, I know I could have made that picture if I had been there like 2 seconds earlier.
I think one of the things with young photographers that I find is that they're searching, right? They're trying to figure out where they need to be, to make the pictures that they're almost seeing in their mind, right? And it takes a ton of patience. And I think a lot of young photographers start off kind of very reactive, just kind of whatever's in front of them. And you have to slow down and compose and think, and where's the light and what's behind the head, and where do I need to be to make this picture, because the light's from here or the mood is there. I think this photographer, it's gelling a little more for them than with the other photographer. I think the other photographer is still searching. And it becomes this automatic thing where it's like right lens, right angle, right exposure, and you're in the right, subject to photographer distance, all that stuff will become in an instant. You know where to be, what to do, what lens you're supposed to be shooting, but right now this photographer is still trying to figure that out. And I think the first photographer is a little farther along, and you can see it in the story, in the way that they're thinking about the light and where they are, and the stepping back and being close. And yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So it sounds like there's a little bit of a consensus here. Does somebody want to nominate a portfolio for College Photographer of the Year?
Nominate this one for first place.
For first place. Okay. So why don't we go ahead and we'll vote on that. So this one for College Photographer of the Year.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations. Really great work.
The next order of business, so you can do one of two things. You can only recognize the one, or you can recognize this one as like a second place or a runner up kind of situation. That's kind of up to you.
No, I think this deserves to get recognized.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, a lot of nice pictures in here, and it's just it just hasn't all gelled on every image at every step of the way, but I think they are well on their way.
Okay, so this one for runner-up College Photographer of the Year. How about that?
Yep.
Okay. Kathy says yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Congratulations as well for that. A lot of really good student work this year.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, until we had pulled up the CPOY category, I could not tell who was a professional, who was a student.
Yeah.
That was really good.
They tend to do that here.
OU thinks they're so awesome.
I mean, I didn't go there, but it's fine.